You're listening to the Money and Meaning podcast, where we chronicle the search for meaning over money. I'm your host, Kanae Porter, National Certified Counselor and the world's #1 financial hypnotherapist. This podcast is the mission-driven CEO's guide to wealth without burnout, guilt, or greed. So let's get into today's show. Hey there, my Prosperos. Welcome to this episode where we're going to talk about a question that sometimes I get asked. Oftentimes I don't get asked this question because by the time people find me, they're already in enough pain that they know why. But every once in a while, I get people who are curious and they ask me, why would I need financial hypnotherapy if I'm already rich? Good question. Let's get into it. Okay. So, do you feel rich? Like really answer that question. Do you feel rich? I mean, really check in. Check in. Do you feel like you have more inside of you, but you can't seem to access it? Do you ever get anxiety around getting to your next level? What about doubts? Do you have doubts when it comes to where you're going next? Do you often do things that maybe you know better? Like, oh, I've been here before. I did this thing before. Yet here I am doing it again. Yeah. What about this one? What about the money stories that you play over in your head over and over and over again? Do you have any of those? Like, money doesn't grow on trees. Have you heard yourself say that to your own children, even though you don't even know what the heck that means? Yeah. What about it's better to give than receive? Got to work hard for money. Any of those things roaming around in your head? Well, let me tell you this story, and then I'm going to get down to some specifics that might pertain to you. So there's a story about a millionaire, and this is a multi-millionaire, and he had been a millionaire for quite some time when this story happened. His wife asked him to go to the store and pick up red peppers for a dish she was cooking. Now, he was just to go to the store and grab a few red peppers and bring them on back so that she could cook the food that she was thinking of. He gets to the store. He sees the red peppers. Something inside of him triggers. He picks them up, but he can't seem to put them in the basket. He goes, no, puts the red peppers back, grabs the green peppers, puts them in the cart. Maybe he didn't have a cart. Sorry to say. He's only getting green peppers. Puts them in the cart, let's just say. Goes to the register and rings them up, thinking this is the right decision. Goes home. His wife sees the green peppers. She goes, what? I asked you to get red peppers. And he goes, oh, the red ones are too expensive, so I got the green ones. He's a millionaire. What is he talking about? You want to know what he's talking about? I'll tell you. So when he was a kid, he'd go to the grocery store with his mom. And his mom would always get the green peppers. But something about the red peppers excited him. And he said, Mom, let's get the red peppers. She said, no, red peppers are too expensive. Go to the store again. He said, can we get the red peppers today? No, the red peppers are too expensive. Over and over this happened. And in his brain, he couldn't even, at his old age, bring himself to buy red peppers. Even though he has millions of dollars, he could have filled the whole cart up with red peppers and it would have been okay. They wouldn't have been too expensive for him. I mean, look at the shoes he's wearing, the watch he's wearing, the jacket he's wearing. All very expensive pieces of clothing and items. Red peppers. What are they? $2, $3 tops. So you see how you can have wealth. You can be rich and your money programming still be in the way. Now, In this case, it didn't cause too much trouble. He just went back to the store, got the red peppers, and satisfied his wife. But that's not always the end of the story. And sometimes it's about more than red peppers. I was watching the podcast Dropping Bombs earlier this year, and Glenn Stern and his wife were on there. And Glenn Stern's wife confessed, I guess you can say, that she drives a Bentley, and her husband asks her not to go to this toll road. The toll road is what, $3, $4, $6 tops. If he can afford the Bentley, he can afford the tolls. But because he is penny pinching or, just like really fearful of that extra dollar being spent, he makes little decisions like that could be uncomfortable, but they just make no sense. And how am I having a conversation with my wife about not going through tolls, and I bought her a Bentley, but I'm going to inconvenience her to take a 10-minute or whatever longer route or go through traffic rather than just take the toll road? No, I'm not doing that. Convenience costs, and $3 or $4 is worth it. So, millionaire or not, and Glenn Stern is a billionaire. So, billionaire or not, you still could have money programming that's standing in the way of your peace of mind. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is causing any catastrophic events in his life, but it is standing in the way of his peace of mind. It could be a lot more peaceful if he just let go of that old program that the toll road is too expensive. And little things like this get in the way of us having that idea of prosperity. Because remember when I asked the question a few minutes ago, do you feel rich? What was your answer? If your answer was no, and you're being honest, I'm so thankful that we are having this conversation, because feeling wealthy is more important than being wealthy. I know. There's plenty of you arguing with me, especially if like Grant Cardone is listening to this. He's like, oh, can I stop it? No. Really though. And the reason why that is because of manifestation. So you can become wealthy faster and more consistently if you feel wealthy. Now, many people will say, well, I became wealthy, I didn't feel wealthy. And that is possible too, because manifestation works off of contrast. So maybe you were in a position and you were like, I don't want to be here. I want to be there. 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 And what you focus on expands. So you focus so intently on where you wanted to be monetarily that you got there, but you forgot the peace of mind you wanted, the adventure you maybe wanted to have in your life, the excitement, the love, even the health. Because how many of you have worked so hard to get wealthy that you're not healthy? This is another reason why you need financial hypnotherapy, because financial hypnotherapy will help you get to the health mentally and physically that's blocking you from having the life that you really want. So here's another question I want to ask you. What is wealth to you? What is wealth? What is rich? What is a rich life? What does wealth consist of? This is the same question that I always ask. What is your idea of prosperity? What I don't want you to believe is that it stops at the money. And then another thing that we should talk about is the question that I asked: do you feel like you have more inside of you, but you can't seem to access it? Maybe you're looking at the guy in front of you and you're like, oh gosh, I want to get where he is. Well, we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let's check in. Do you feel like you have more inside of you that just doesn't seem to come out? Like maybe you have a block, or maybe you keep repeating the same thing expecting a different result. Yeah. Yes, that happens so often. Repeating the same arguments with your wife, repeating the same, I don't know, break deals. You ever we're in the midst of a deal and maybe you pushed too hard and the deal fell through, or maybe you kind of ignored it and the deal fell through. But maybe you're still closing, let's say 7 or 6 out of 10 deals. But what would have happened if you got those other 4? And yeah, not every deal is going to close, but but are you the reason why the deals aren't closing? Sometimes it's just life and it's out of your control. But other times, if you control the controllables, which in some cases is your emotions, and if you get fearful and you push too hard, I know some salespeople, they get fearful of losing the sale. And so they push harder and harder and harder and harder, which then pushes the sale away. And then they back off and somehow the sale can sometimes come back. But that push can often push the sale away or the deal away. People can sense your desperation. Have you seen so I talked about Glenn Stern earlier. He has a TV show called Undercover Billionaire. And the second season of Undercover Billionaire, Grant Cardone was on there. And he, oh my gosh, needs financial hypnotherapy so badly. And a lot of people wouldn't think he would because he has amassed a certain amount of wealth, dollars. But remember when his dollars, if you saw the show, his dollars were taken away from him, he could not even function. And 2 reasons. And this is what I want you to see. This is one of the most important parts of why you need financial hypnotherapy, or why wealthy men still need financial hypnotherapy. Was he lost it, breaking down so much. His whole identity is wrapped up in him having money. And when he didn't have it, he didn't even know how to be who he was, because all he was to himself and to the world is this wealthy man. And without his money, he's no longer wealthy because he didn't really focus on the other areas of his life. Now, it appears that he has an awesome love life and great relationship with his wife. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying it appears that way. Same thing with his daughters. It appears that he has a great relationship with his daughters. So even though he didn't have the money anymore, it seemed like he still had a great connection with his family. Now, they weren't there with him, although he kept saying that he wanted to get his family there and he wanted to get his family there. But in a way, I was glad as I was watching it that they weren't there, because the way he functioned without money was so scarce and so fearful that it surprised me that he hadn't healed a lot of that. A lot of his past hurt and pain and trauma was coming up, and it was just scary to watch for a therapist who knows that this can be remedied. Like, there's a remedy for this. We can heal this, and you don't ever have to feel like you don't know who you are without money. So how many of you, I want to ask you that question. How many of you feel like you're nobody without your money? You want more, but you're tired of working so hard for it. I know. And our presidential preview was designed with you in mind. This is the first step in working with me or one of my trained financial hypnotherapists. You'll uncover your blocks in no time with the 2 private sessions, the unlimited pop-up group sessions, and the lifetime access to our virtual hypnotherapy library that comes inside your presidential preview. It's a small investment for a big shift. Your life and your business will be different after you finish your presidential preview. You'll get to experience our breakthrough to clarity virtual hypnotherapy, and you'll have a breakthrough to clarity private session with one of our trained hypnotherapists. You are well on your way to breaking through your blocks, getting to your next level, but most importantly, getting the most out of your business and your life. So if you want to get the tools you need to manifest the business and life of your dreams, start with the presidential preview. So go ahead, click the link in the show notes, and I'll see you inside. Yeah. How many of you feel like people wouldn't like you if you didn't have money? How many of you feel like if people knew really exactly how much money you actually had, they wouldn't like you? And that could be either way, right? Because I know people, I've worked with men who have less money than they appear, that whole fake it till you make it. But I also know men who have more money than they appear to have. And which one are you? So I'm answering the question, why do I need hypnotherapy if I'm already rich or wealthy? And if you think about it, the simple answer to that question is because if you want more, you've got to clear anything in the way of you getting it. That's the simple answer. But I went deeper than that because financial hypnotherapy is not just about money. Because did you know we are all using money to get love? We are. And I'm going to talk about that in a future episode. But if you don't have financial hypnotherapy, then how you're using money to get love and acceptance can really be hurting you and not giving you authentic relationships, mainly because you might not be authentic. And you could be manipulative, using money to manipulate. And I know that I'm just touching these subjects. And that's because this is not a mini therapy session. This is an awareness session. And sure, people will say, well, that's where you get awareness is in therapy. Yeah, but not in financial hypnotherapy, not in hypnotherapy overall, because awareness or insight is not required for healing. So this is more of a talk therapy session, not our normal hypnotherapy session. Because in our hypnotherapy session, I would just want to know where you are. Where are you right now? What are you feeling? And that's part of why I am asking these questions. But I know that you can fake it and you can forget. So if I would have to ask Grant Cardone how he felt, he would say he feels fine because he has money and it's masking his pain. The minute the money was gone, all the pain came up and he remembered it was there. So what pain are you forgetting? I was just working with a millionaire the other day and he says to me, everything is fine. Oh, I'm over everything from my childhood. And I was like, okay, that's not true, but I get it. You're strong. You can white knuckle it. You can will your way to the next place in life, but you're not over what you experienced. And there's still some work to be done. But he had some resistance to healing because that resistance was not, he doesn't want to heal. The resistance was he already believed that he did. And he truly does believe that. But what he doesn't understand is that he's saying, I am able to function with it. And functioning with pain, just imagine. Just see yourself limping with a pain in your knee or your hip. And you can do it. You can walk and limp. But imagine what it feels like to not have that pain and walk. And just walk your sexy walk. Because limping is not all that sexy. Just walking your walk with a little swag, of course. If you want to put a little dip in there, you can, but you don't have to because your hip doesn't hurt anymore. I want you to see yourself doing that. Well, when you are not healed completely, thoroughly, fully, you are limping your way to the top. And the reason why it's lonely at the top is because you didn't heal on your way there. And you've isolated yourself. I need to give you this one last point because it's important. And I think that it's probably one of the most important, but everything I just said was super important. So I hope you took notes. But this last one, a lot of times you need financial hypnotherapy because you are externally focused. And financial hypnotherapy can help you become internally focused, retrospective. And I'm not talking about the insight and awareness. I think those are great. If you took our Control the Controllable virtual guide, then you'll see the first step is awareness. But when I want you to understand, when I say awareness, it's more of the what and not the why. Two different things. The what am I feeling right now? What would I like to feel? What did I feel that got me here? You can go down to the why if you like, but it's not required for healing. So you don't have to. And that's why my men typically like the financial hypnotherapy process that we have at Presidential Lifestyle because it doesn't require. Now you're going to do some talking and we're going to clear some things out. So you might feel a little discomfort during the sessions, but not very much. And especially not what you feel in talk therapy. This is why I prefer hypnotherapy over talk therapy. Now, I know my women tend to like the talk therapy more than the hypnotherapy. And that's why in my program, the success rate for women is lower than the success rate for men. Men typically go all the way through the program, do everything I suggest in the order that I suggested, and I can easily guide them. They allow me to be their guide. Women don't always do that. And so one is some of that is me because I am so in my masculine when I am teaching and leading. But two, some of that is our program. It's a step-by-step program, and men love those linear step-by-step programs. And women love things that go a little more windy, twisty, or stay in one part of the program longer, or skip over one part and go to the next part. Like they really like to do that and have some control over it. Now, you would think that men would want to have more control, but I don't know what it is. It works out really well that they allow us to guide them. Now, I say me, but this is true for all the financial hypnotherapists that are on our team. Now, we do have some financial hypnotherapists on our team that solely work with women the same way that I solely work with men. So, and those financial hypnotherapists find joy and meaning in that. I find joy and meaning in working with the men. Bottom line is what we do is mainly for wealthy people because you can't be in stress about keeping the lights on and paying your bills if you're going to go to self-actualization. Self-actualization, it takes you getting out of that stress cortisol mode to a calm optimal brain state. And if you are worried about how you're going to keep the lights on, it's going to be difficult for me to get you into calm optimal brain state. And then manifestation can be harder, but it actually can be easier. Sometimes when the contrast is that high, like you can really see where you are, then you really, really put focus on where you want to be. And sometimes when you're wealthy, like I said about my patient who said he was over his stuff from the past and he isn't, but sometimes you can feel that way because you have enough money to fill your voids. Now I'm going to talk more about this next episode, but I said that the external focus was the last one, and it is because this is like a point B to that point A. So that external focus makes you feel like something outside of you is going to make you feel better. Here is where financial hypnotherapy softens, like just makes things lighter and easier. Are you tired of pushing and forcing and white knuckling your way through things? Waking up uncomfortable? How many wealthy men wake up sad or ungrateful or pressured and stressed, feeling unappreciated. You wake up that way. You know why? Because you went to sleep that way. But what if you could sleep peacefully? Wouldn't that be nice? And that's why you do need financial hypnotherapy, even if you're wealthy, especially if you're wealthy. Because if you spend so much time focusing on external things, trying to fill those voids that you feel, if you spend time repeating the same mistakes, like doing it the same way, and yeah, it works sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. And nothing works all the time, I know, but enough of the time that you don't feel guilty. You know that guilt you feel? Well, financial hypnotherapy heals that. Whether you feel guilty for being at work so much and spending so much time building your business, or you feel guilty when you're not building your business. Maybe you haven't done enough because you want to be at home with your family. I had a patient who had a sick child, and being at the hospital meant not working. And that person wanted to be at work sometimes, a lot of times. And they felt guilty for feeling that feeling. Like, I should want to be here with my child as they heal, as they recover. But I really want to be at work right now. Well, what if you could reconcile those emotions where you could be at peace no matter where you are? Because you are at peace inside. It does not matter what's happening outside of you, what's happening out in the world. All that really matters is what's happening inside of you. And if you don't control that, then you don't control that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So glad we had this conversation. Yeah. And that's what the next 50 episodes are going to be about. It's going to be about you and I having conversations about financial hypnotherapy, about the search for meaning over money, about when you fake it till you make it, about your imposter, your authentic self, about the tips, the tools, the resources you need in order to get to your next level. Now, they're going to be the ones that you can do without hypnotherapy because you'll need to retain us. But there's so much you can do. And there's also so much you need to do outside of hypnotherapy, which is another reason why I'm recording this, because these become a resource. Because if you are only doing what we do inside hypnotherapy sessions, then the work that you need to do outside, that kind of solidifies. So imagine, you know how if you break a bone, you got to wear a cast. Where think of hypnotherapy or financial hypnotherapy. Think of our breakthrough to clarity framework as your cast. But then there's all these other things that I layer on in the program, and we deliver, but we need you to do them. So let's say your financial hypnotherapist, does your session with you every single month, does your group session with you every single month. She or he is doing his work. He's doing what he's supposed to do to help you get to healing. But then you get field work assigned to you. And if you're not doing the field work, then you're not going to have the lasting change that you're looking for. But financial hypnotherapy can help you break through those blocks that had you repeating those same things over and over again, like eating something that's not good for you. You keep doing it even though you know. Well, you can clear the blocks that keep you from stopping or making a wiser decision. If your identity is wrapped up in you having money, I'm not saying that that's not a part of who you are. It actually is. But if you see it as the most important part or the only part, or that if you didn't have it, then you're not lovable or likable. If you have this anxiety around, got to get more, got to get more, got to get more, that anxiety is bringing you down. That money programming that is telling you to buy green peppers rather than red peppers, even not take the toll road, or like Ed Milet tells a story about how he found a golf ball on a golf course and he felt like he really won. Like, oh, I found a golf, what? $2 or $3 a golf ball. So why was that so important to him? But that's his mentality. He could use some financial hypnotherapy too. So do you feel wealthy? Do you feel like there's more inside of you? Are you leaving money on the table? Are you leaving love on the table? Are you limping through life? Answer these questions, and then you know what to do from there. No, not continue to do it. Hold on and push through. That's not the right answer. Let us guide you. We'd love to. So that's our show for today. I feel so good because we are back now, recorded 3 episodes, and I feel so good. It just feels so good. So thank you for being here with me. I will see you next week, and there is so much to discuss. So just, put your seatbelt on and let's go for a ride. Ride with me. I've got some things I want to show you, and I know you want to see them. So my Prosperity Pro, I'll see you next week. In the meantime, answer those questions and take the next best step for you. I'll be here. My team is here. And we got you. See you sooner. You're not sure what's blocking you, but you're determined to get to the bottom of it, right? Well, if you're the type of person that likes to dip your toe in first before you take a big leap, then start with our Path to Prosperity Manifestation Masterclass. When you purchase this masterclass, you'll get both a live and a virtual group financial hypnotherapy session. Inside, you'll also find our assessment to help you uncover what's got you feeling stuck. In the same amount of time you could watch an Avengers movie, you could change your life. So go ahead, click the link in the show notes for our Path to Prosperity Manifestation Masterclass, and let's start manifesting today. I'll see you inside. Thanks for listening all the way to the end, my Prosperity Pro. I want to stay connected with you. Here are 4 ways. Pick the one that works best for you if you want to stay connected with me. 1, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Send them to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. I'd love it if you would make a 1 or 2 minute audio message and attach it to an email. That'd be the easiest way for me to get it. Ask me anything about creating a life of meaning over money, and I'll get you an answer. Remember, the email address is podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. 2, subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends, because you guys might want to have a discussion about it, especially if they're a CEO who wants to shift from the old American dream to a life of meaning. 3, we try not to have any sponsors on this show unless they are truly in line with our values. I mean, really a good fit. So that means we fund this podcast ourselves. I'd like you to take a look at our resource page to see if there's any products or services that we recommend that are right for you. If not, no worries, maybe later. If so, please use our affiliate link to purchase. Thank you in advance for doing that. You are such an amazing person. Okay, for and last, if you want to know what's happening over here at Presidential Lifestyle and you want us to email you the update, then go to presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. And you'll see the current updated blog for the week, but you'll also see a link to subscribe to that blog. We can email it to you if you like. That's presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. Don't worry, you don't have to remember that link or any links. They're all in the show notes. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you're enjoying this podcast, go ahead and leave us a review and tell us how much you're enjoying it. And now for the legalese. This podcast is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice is from a professional who knows you and your specific situation. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and for informational or entertainment purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional that you can discuss your specific situation with. Whether you choose us or someone else, one-on-one counsel is important, whether it's a financial, therapeutic, legal, or other decision. So that's all for now. I'll see you next episode. And remember, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you'll soon see it.